You fertilize, you water, you mow on schedule, and the lawn still looks tired, thin, and patchy. Before you spend one more dollar on fertilizer, I want you to understand something most homeowners never check. The problem is almost never on top of the soil. It is inside it. It is called soil compaction. And it is the single most overlooked reason a lawn refuses to turn green no matter what you pour on it. Today I'm going to show you how to test for it yourself in your own yard using tools you already own. And by the end of this video, you will be able to tell in about 5 minutes whether your lawn is starving underground. If that sounds useful, do me one favor before we start. Subscribe to this channel. This is the kind of practical evidence-based lawn knowledge most lawn care companies have no reason to teach you. So let us begin with what compaction actually is, because understanding the mechanism changes everything. Healthy soil is not solid. It is roughly half solid particles and half open space. That open space, called pore space, is where air and water move and where roots breathe. Yes, roots breathe. Grass roots need oxygen in the soil just as much as the blades need sunlight above it. Compaction happens when a downward force presses soil particles closer together and crushes that pore space. Foot traffic. Mower wheels passing over the same lines. Pets, children playing, even heavy rain on bare patches. According to turf grass specialists at Penn State and Clemson University, foot traffic is the most common single cause of compaction in home lawns. And here is the part that surprises people. Your own lawn care routine is part of the cause. Every time you push a mower across the grass, those wheels sink slightly and press the soil down. Do that every week, season after season along the same path, and the soil underneath slowly turns dense and airless. Now here is why that matters so much. When pore space collapses, 3 things happen at once. First, water can no longer soak in. It runs off or pools on the surface instead of reaching the roots. Second, oxygen can no longer reach the root zone, and without oxygen, the roots begin to die back. Third, the soil becomes physically too hard for roots to push through, so the grass roots stay shallow and weak. Research compiled by the University of Massachusetts turf program found that nutrient uptake in compacted soil can drop by 10 to 30%. Think about what that means. You can apply the perfect amount of fertilizer, and your grass still cannot absorb a third of it. This is the trap so many people fall into. The lawn looks nitrogen-starved, so they add more nitrogen. But the cause was never a lack of nutrients. The cause was a root system that cannot reach them. Adding more fertilizer to compacted soil is like pouring water on a sealed jar. Most of it never gets in, and it gets worse because thin, weak grass leaves gaps, and weeds love compacted ground. Annual bluegrass, goosegrass, knotweed, and crabgrass are all far more tolerant of compacted soil than your lawn grass is. So, over time, a compacted lawn does not just thin out. It slowly fills in with weeds instead. Now that you understand the mechanism, let me show you how to actually test for it. This is the part that pays off. There are 3 simple tests, and you can do all of them today. None of them require buying anything. The first is the one turf experts recommend most often. It is called the screwdriver test. Take an ordinary long screwdriver, the longer the better, and pick a spot in your lawn. One important note first. Do this a day or so after good rain or a deep watering, when the soil is moist, not bone dry. Dry soil is hard for everyone. You want to test the soil and the condition roots actually live in. Now push the screwdriver straight down into the lawn using only the strength of your hand and forearm. No stomping, no body weight. In healthy soil, the screwdriver should slide in 4 to 6 inches with light, steady pressure. If it stops after only an inch or 2 and you hit firm resistance, that is compaction. A turf grass specialist at Virginia Cooperative Extension describes this as the simplest, most effective way to assess compaction where most grass roots live, which is the top 4 inches of soil. Do it in several spots across the yard, not just one. Test the high traffic lanes and compare them to a quiet corner. You will often find the path everyone walks is rock hard while the edges go in easily. That comparison alone tells the story. The second test goes one level deeper, and I think it is the most honest one. It is the soil core test. Take a spade or a garden trowel and cut a small wedge of soil and turf about 4 to 6 inches deep and lift it out. First, notice how hard it was to dig. If you had to fight the soil to get the spade in, that is information. Then, look at the side of that wedge you removed. You're looking at a cross-section of your root zone. Look at the grass roots. In healthy soil, roots extend down 4 to 6 inches, white and fibrous and spreading. If your roots only reach down 1 to 2 inches and then stop flat, as if they hit a wall, your soil is compacted. The Virginia Cooperative Extension confirms this directly. Roots that stay in the top 1 to 2 inches are a clear sign the profile is too dense below. Also look at the soil itself. Healthy soil crumbles in your hand. Compacted soil comes out in a dense, heavy block. Now the third test, and this one requires no tools at all. Just your eyes after it rains. Watch your lawn during and right after heavy rain or long watering. Where does the water go? In healthy soil, water soaks in within minutes, and the surface is damp but not flooded. In compacted soil, water pools, sits on top, and runs off toward the lowest point instead of soaking down. If you have spots that stay wet for hours, or puddles that form in the same places every time it rains, that is your answer. That standing water is the visible proof that the pore space below has collapsed and there is nowhere for the water to go. So those are your 3 tests: the screwdriver, the soil core, and the rain observation. Run all 3. If 2 or 3 of them point to compaction, you can stop guessing. You have found your real problem, and finding the real problem is most of the battle, because now your effort and your money go to the right place. Now, I have walked you through how to confirm compaction. The natural next question is how to fix it. I will give you the foundation here, because the core principle is simple, and it costs you nothing to understand. The most effective fix for a compacted lawn is core aeration, and the word core matters enormously. There are 2 kinds of aeration, and only one of them actually solves the problem. Spike aeration just pokes holes by pushing soil aside, which can press the surrounding soil even tighter. That is not what you want. Core aeration uses hollow tines to physically pull small plugs of soil out of the ground, opening real channels. Those open channels let air, water, and roots finally reach down into the soil profile again. According to multiple university extension programs, core aeration is the single most beneficial cultivation practice for a compacted lawn. The plugs it pulls are usually around 3 to 4 inches deep and about the width of your finger. But here's the part almost everyone gets wrong, and it is the most important rule of all: timing. You must aerate only when your grass is actively growing, so it can recover and fill in the holes quickly. Aerating a dormant or stressed lawn does more harm than good, and this is where grass type decides everything. Cool season grasses, like fescue, ryegrass, and Kentucky bluegrass, grow most vigorously in fall and again in early spring. For those grasses, early fall is the ideal window. The grass recovers fast and weed competition is low. Warm season grasses, like Bermuda, zoysia, and centipede, grow most strongly in the heat of late spring and early summer. For those, late spring into early summer is the right time, when rapid growth fills the holes within weeks. The rule beneath all of this is simple: never aerate a lawn that is dormant. Aerate into growth, never out of it. And there is one more piece that turns a one-time fix into a lasting one: top dressing. After you aerate, spreading a thin 1/4-inch layer of quality compost across the lawn and working it into the holes does something powerful. The compost feeds soil microbes, adds organic matter, and keeps those new channels open far longer. University turf programs note that organic matter improves water holding capacity and helps prevent the soil from compacting again. So the honest, complete picture is this: diagnose with the 3 tests, relieve with core aeration at the right time for your grass, protect with compost top dressing. That is the entire foundation, and you now understand it better than most people who pay for lawn service every month. Now, I kept the core method simple on purpose, but there are details that change the result depending on your exact situation. For example, the precise aeration schedule shifts with your climate zone and the soil temperature, not just the calendar month. Clay soils compact faster and need aerating at least once a year, while sandy soils can often go every other year. And the spacing and number of passes you make with the aerator changes how much relief you actually get on severely compacted ground. Those specifics, the climate zone aeration calendar, the soil temperature triggers, and the step-by-step aeration depth and spacing guide, are the 3 things I could not fit into this video without making it an hour long. So I put them together in a complete written guide. And the link is the first one in the description and pinned in the top comment. If your tests today showed compaction, that guide is the exact roadmap for fixing it in your specific zone. But honestly, even if you never opened the guide, you walked away from this video with something valuable. You now know how to diagnose the single most common hidden problem in a struggling lawn in 5 minutes with a screwdriver. Before you go, let me leave you with the one thing to remember. If your lawn looks tired despite everything you do, stop feeding the top and start testing what is underneath. Do the screwdriver test this weekend. Do the soil core. Watch where the rain goes. The ground will tell you the truth. And once you know it, you can finally fix the right thing. If this helped you see your lawn differently, subscribe so the next homeowner finds it too. The full climate zone aeration guide is the first link in the description and in the pinned comment. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.